Welcome, everybody, to the Blitz Breakdown. I'm Noah Schlicksup alongside Brody McGough Chandler Dantzler, our producer. Last week of the regular season, well, second last, for most people, last week of the regular season. We've got some makeup games next week, but Brody, we are closing in on the playoffs, the final stretch of the regular season, and there is a lot to talk about. Later on, we'll be joined at 8:20 by Asher Ghioto, five-star defensive end, sophomore, been tearing it up for the Bolles school this year, and he's top 20 in the country in sacks, top 5 in Florida. Was at Notre Dame for a visit a couple weeks ago, and he'll be playing in one of our 2 games of the week, one on Thursday, his on Friday. Bolles traveling to Columbia, so we'll be joined by Asher Ghioto at 8:20. Then at 8:33, Coach Kevin Sullivan joining us to talk about the playoffs and 2 very interesting regions we have our eyes on. So, Brody, fun show ahead.
Oh, yeah, it is. I'm very excited. And, last week of the normal regular season, there's that next week for the what do you call it?
Beachside Fleming
Hurricane week? Is that why it's a thing?
Makeup week.
Yeah, it's like the makeup week for like
bye week, playoff bye.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. But last week of the real regular season, and it's just flown by. And me and Noah have had so much fun talking about games in here and calling the games. So let's get straight into the show, baby.
Yeah, and a lot more to talk about. But first, we got to talk about last week, just a couple of days ago, starting off with our game of the week, as we always do, Fleming Island versus Middleburg. And to be honest, not too much to write home about for this game. It was basically Fleming Island all the way, commanding 21-10 victory for the Golden Eagles, Brody.
Yeah, it was, and it was a defensive game, especially in that first half. I think it was 7-3 going into half, if I'm not mistaken. Fleming was up. That's that first touchdown of the football game. That's Stevenson right there. He's a really good player. He also had a pick that night. Played some really good football on both sides of the ball for the Fleming Golden Eagles. Yeah, but one thing I noticed, they moved Darius Rogers, their DN, that's big time commit to Syracuse.
Yeah,
and they moved him at middle linebacker. They had him just blitzing a lot from the middle linebacker spot. That's a big change for their defense, and he did a lot of good things that night in disrupting that backfield. Sebastian Cruz doing what Sebastian Cruz always does week in and week out, working that wildcat formation and strapping up in coverage. I remember a very key pass breakup in that game by him, and all in all, just a really good game by the Golden Eagles. Middleburg just couldn't ever find a passing game or really a consistent running game. And, yeah, just a defensive game that the Golden Eagles were on top of.
Yeah, and you think back to that defensive front for Middleburg was dominant the entire game. They held Middleburg to under 100 yards passing and rushing, 157 yards of total offense there for the Broncos. The first time in over a year Middleburg hasn't rushed for 100 yards in a game. And just through and through, that was a big-time performance from Fleming Island when they needed it most. That was a team that they need to stack up some wins to get into the playoffs, and that was a big one in their own district, in their own region, to beat a team in Middleburg that could end up maybe being the difference between them making or missing the playoffs. They've got 2 very key matchups to close out the season this week, Flagler Palm Coast. Then they make it up against Beachside, I believe, next Tuesday.
Yep.
And that's going to be a very exciting matchup to watch, I think.
Yeah, it is. But also one more thing I forgot to mention, just holding a back like Addison to not many yards like that. I know I said they stopped the run all night, but a guy like Addison, he's one great athlete. You could see every time he got into second level, he made something happen, and just a really good job for Fleming Island doing that and stopping him. And yeah, should be a good matchup with that beachside week for Fleming. I think that's going to be a fun one. But again, just a good atmosphere at the Rock too. Both sides really showed up, and the bands were rocking. So it was a really fun game to be at, and it was a low scoring one. Just
defensive battle,
and
a packed house for it as well. I think the top matchup last week was Mandarin and Oakleaf for the district championship.
Yeah.
That was a big-time game in the area. A lot of eyes on that one going into it. Oakleaf coming off that big win against Ed White. And in the end, it was the Mustangs who rolled their way over the Oakleaf Knights for their 4th straight district championship. Final score, 31-14. Mandarin outscored Oakleaf 17-0 in the first half. Each team scored 14 in the second half. That fast start was the difference in that game, and just a great defensive performance for Mandarin, Brody.
Yeah, stopping that run game over there with Oakleaf, they just had a really good run game. That O-line's physical, and that back is just, that's a great back. The things he did against Ed White was impressive. Ran for 5 touchdowns, over 300 yards. And
Buck Coleman.
Yeah, they call him Buck over there. And, good job from them stopping that. Mandarin's just doing really good things on both sides of the ball up front. They do a really good job controlling the line of scrimmage. They've done that in every single one of their wins. And, just keep harping on that each and every week. They always talk about Bryson Wright, Knox at QB and just your threats, Brody Jennings at corner, all these skilled position players. Their front seven and their O-line has been playing some lights out football this year, stopping just great run games and just playing some lights out defense. Holding them to 0 points in that first half is, like you said, just really won them that football game, and doing that to a team like Oakleaf is very impressive.
What is it that makes this Mandarin team and that Mandarin defense so dangerous?
First off, they're one of the most talented units we've even watched this season, and secondly, they're very ferocious. They play with a lot of tenacity, and they're just a mean group right there. And they'll love to stack the box and press their corners. They believe in their corners, and DBs just guarding receivers one-on-one, no matter who it is. And they'll fit the run really hard, and that D-line gets off the ball. And that O-line for Mandarin as well does a really good job of protecting Knox Annis, and just that run game too is good. I mean, both sides of the trenches do a really good job for Mandarin.
Yeah, and I think with that one, there's so much about that team that doesn't get talked about enough, and that offensive line might be the biggest thing that doesn't get talked about. That running game, if Mandarin relies on that, especially this week against St. Augustine, if they can get that run game going, they become a very, very tough team to beat, especially with that defense and with that secondary. That defense they play, where they press those corners, they run the one high safety, it works because of those guys they have at corner, and especially that front seven being able to get pressure on the quarterback. So big matchup in our Thursday game of the week broadcast between Mandarin and St. Augustine. That place is going to be packed. There is everybody and their brother is out at that game covering it for media. We're gonna be packed in there, but we're gonna get you a good quality broadcast on Thursday night. Game that did not disappoint last week. Fletcher and First Coast. The final score 24-21. First Coast was leading 21-10. Going into the fourth quarter, but the backup quarterback for the Fletcher Senators, Christian Ghioto, threw for 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, completed 66% of his passes, and completed the comeback. A big win for the Senators.
Yeah, it is. They that's another physical football team right there. And if you watch that Mandarin Fletcher game, they battled all night on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And Fletcher coming back in that game shows you how tough their football team is mentally, and the resilience they had to come back in that football game. 21-10 going into the fourth. That's 2 scores. That's a hard uphill battle to climb. And just not much else to say. Ghioto going in there and throwing for 241 yards. Hats off to him, man. Because the QB before, he was a top 10 passer, in my opinion, in the area that we cover football. And for the backup QB, Ghioto, to get in there and get his hands dirty and throw some good footballs for his football team. Really good job by Fletcher Senators to get that win over First Coast. First Coast is no slouch of a football team at all. So
they've been fighting this year.
Yes, they have, and they played some tough games, and so has Fletcher. I think that was a very evenly matched football game going into it.
Yeah, and Fletcher's defense, they got banged up there the first 3 quarters, but they're able to hold First Coast to nothing in the fourth, and that offense makes the comeback. Joshua Jones and DeAndre Smith, those are 2 of the best wide receivers in the area. A great wide receiver duo over there for Fletcher. Each had over 100 yards receiving. And how about Joshua Jones? We saw his arm against Mandarin, and he showed it off in that game. He caught a touchdown and threw for another. Just really impressive stuff over there at Fletcher. And with this playoff race, they are in a very tough region. We'll talk about it later. They need to stack some wins before the end of the regular season. Another district championship last week, and this was the definition of a shootout, folks. Ed White, 64-45 over Riverside, and we saw it coming heading into this game. Ed White's defense has struggled this year. That offense, though, is on another level, Brody.
Ed White's offense might be, they're a top 3 offense in the area. I'll say that. They've been doing a really good job just through the rushing game and through the air. King Boylston, 81% completion rating. That's just a great stat right there. Riverside, their record might not show that good of a team, but they've had a really tough schedule, and they've scrapped with some good football teams. In this game, they scrapped with Ed White until Ed White started pulling away. Really good job by Ed White getting that win. Ed White's just one of those teams that are, all offense and just not much defense. They rely on their offensive unit to win them football games, and they do it when they need them most. And second straight district title, hats off to Ed White for getting that. That new coaching staff is doing a really good job over there. And, the offense, going right back to it, one of the best offenses in the area, one of the best play calling in the area that I've witnessed. That Oakleaf game, I thought that offensive coordinator called a great game. And, good job by Ed White. And, we'll see him in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the second straight district title for the Commanders. Offense now averaging 54.3 points per game. Just, honestly, unbelievable from that team. Just what goes into that offense and what allows them to dominate the way they do, no matter the opponent, week in, week out.
It starts with the O-line. They battle up front, and they may not be the biggest unit, but, man, they're scrappy, and they'll play for 4 quarters. They can do a little bit of everything. They can run with their QBs. R.J. Lloyd, a very good running back, and King Boylston, obviously, a really good rusher. I've always said he's the best rushing QB in the area, and he's not just a guy that slides, goes out of bounds. He'll take a hit and keep driving his feet forward. He's a really fun player to watch, and also that passing game is lethal. And Roberson is a really good receiver. King Mercer, another really good receiver. He's more of their quick slot that can get them actually he averages a lot of yards per catch last time we checked, and so they're just big play machines for the receiving unit, and again, just right back to that O-line. They scrap and they play hard, even when they're going hurry up, even when they're going slow. They're always playing just at a very high level, and they execute at a high level as well, and they're not afraid to go for it on any 4th down, and they convert a lot of them. They do a really good job of converting on 3rd and 4th down. They just check off every box.
Brody, you know who else has a really good offense in the area?
Who?
The Rains Vikings.
Oh, yeah,
and they showed it off yet again on full display against the Yulee Hornets. District championship, no problem for Rains. I tell you what, this team is just unfair. Going into the graveyard, no easy task, a great crowd on hand, and man, did the Vikings give them something to cheer about in this game. A 58-6 final score. That defense comes up big for the Rains Vikings. Outscored the Hornets 49-0 in the first half. TJ Cole, 5 touchdowns, and there was some pants that were lost in this game, as we'll show you later on. And as Brent Martineau said on the Friday Night Blitz on Friday night, it's all right. Rains has been pantsing everybody this season, and just that they're on a completely different level as a football team. Just unbelievable.
Unbelievable is the right word to say. I haven't seen this dominant of a football team in a while, and Rains is definitely is the cream of the top. And they're what Florida football represents. They do a lot of good things over there, and it seems like every game they end up in the band and having fun. They play with a lot of energy. They're a fun team to watch, and Yulee, that's a really good football team over there. That is not no slouch of a team at all, but Rains is just on a different level. They got it's child's play for them, man.
And the way they execute is something else. They run fast and they don't have pre-snap penalties somehow on offense. They are a very impressive unit as a team. And we have a fun clip. This might be the best highlight of the season, Brody.
Oh, yeah.
We saw this immediately and we're like, we got to get this up on social media. Chandler, you have it ready to go? Here it is. Tyshawn Haynes, he's got a touchdown. He does not have his pants.
He is paying absolutely no minds about his pants being down. He's
his offensive line. That's my favorite part. The offensive lineman pulling the pants up after the touchdown, and he just keeps celebrating. He doesn't care.
Three parts to it that are awesome. First off, the pants falling down, obviously. Second part, the fact that he doesn't care that they're down. He's going to go celebrate his touchdown because he earned that. And then the third part, like you just said, his teammate being a great teammate and then pulling up his pants. I mean, that's just so funny. That's just one great clip, man.
I've never seen that before. There's some clips where you'll see him tugging at the jersey on the tackle, and sometimes look at the pants. They're like, oh, and you wonder. I mean, you've probably wondered before, like, it could happen. It happened, and he did not care. It was amazing, and he had multiple touchdowns that game. He's going off right now for the Reigns Vikings. Tyshawn Haynes, shout out to him and Reigns as they stay rolling. On now to our Week 11 rankings, final rankings of the regular season. Unless we do them next week, TBD on that. Yeah, we'll do them next week. But here's a look at the rankings. Some movement after that Mandarin Oakleaf game. Reigns stays number 1. St. Augustine number 2. Bolles number 3. Mandarin stays put at number 4. Nice slides up to 5. Bradford 6. Oakleaf drops down to 7 after their 31-14 loss to the Mandarin Mustangs, and Columbia in there at the 8th spot. We've got 2 ranked matchups on Action Sports Jacks 24/7 this week. Bolles going up against number 8 Columbia, and then 2 versus 4 St. Augustine and Mandarin on Thursday night. Brody, quick question for you before we go to break. How many feet are there to get a first down in football?
How many feet?
Yes.
So let's so 1 yard is 3 feet.
Yes.
And how many feet are there to get a first down in football?
Yeah.
You guys, you put me on the spot, man. I can't think. Ask a question one more time.
How many feet are there in a first down?
30.
We did it. Quick math on the spot. Back after this break with Asher Ghioto on the Blitz breakdown.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com. Burgers or breakfast, you can get it all at Whataburger. Try something new on the menu or an all-time favorite like the Whataburger Patty Melt.
And now you can have breakfast here at Whataburger 12 hours a day, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. Menu items like the bacon taquito, sausage taquito, honey butter chicken biscuit. Whether you work the late night shift, just want a snack early in the morning to get your day started, or a little pick-me-up late in the morning, 12 hours a day, breakfast served, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m.
A dozen locations in Jacksonville. You can order pickup or delivery and download the Whataburger app. New rewards members get free Whataburger items when placing their first online order. Just download the app. And for us coffee drinkers, Whataburger has all new hot coffee and iced coffee too. Satisfy that coffee craving at Whataburger 24/7, and it comes in a variety of flavors. Burgers, breakfast, coffee, and so much more. Whataburger, just like you like it. Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University.
Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Tony Mazzio, Stanwood High School, class of 2002.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oakleaf High School.
Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Jacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley,
Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker's Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
Welcome back to the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 studios. We're joined now by the 5-star defensive end, the sophomore sensation over there for the Bolles Bulldogs, Asher Ghioto. Asher, welcome on to the Blitz Breakdown.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you on the show. 17 sacks this season and still going. And then I forgot, Mike's right here. We'll have to pull that up for you, but we should probably set that up during the commercial break.
Yeah, that's on us. We're still a little new in this.
Yeah, third in-studio guest, so great to have you here.
That's
awesome. I tell you what, these defensive ends, I'm 6'3". I don't often feel small. When I shook hands with Asher here,
I didn't realize how big he was either. I thought he was like around your height, but man, he's towering over both of us today. He's a big kid, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you're a former linebacker standing next to him.
Nope.
And lining up across from you on Friday night, you guys got the Columbia Tigers, a ranked matchup here in our top 8. And this is going to be a really interesting test there for Columbia, for you guys, both of you. Going out to Lake City, what are you looking forward to in this matchup?
You know, I'm looking forward to playing a ranked team again, like you said, in the top 8. They're a great team, phenomenal on offense, and really even better on defense. So it's going to be an awesome matchup. I'm really excited to see where we stack up against a ranked opponent, because last time we played a ranked opponent, being Oakleaf, that obviously went very well and really went into our favor. So that was a really awesome game, and I'm really excited after these past couple games, really getting back into the groove of things, and now being able to go back out there and really play a great team like that. I'm really excited for that and see how we score against them.
Yeah. And this is, you mentioned you've played, I think your 2 big tests this year, fair to say, are Oakleaf and St. Augustine. Both have been good games. One didn't go the way you'd hope for, obviously. But when you play quality opponents like this, what does it reveal about you guys as a team?
I mean, I feel like it really reveals the chemistry and really how we deal under pressure, because I feel like that's where some teams start to crumble, is where, okay, they're up by 14 points going into half. It's how we respond after that. And so I feel like really going into halftime with the mentality, or going into anything with the mentality of, hey, it doesn't matter how much we're down by, but, I mean, it really matters, like, how are we going to bounce back from this, and what changes can we make, and how can we apply that? And we can't let that get into our head. I feel like that's, like, really important, and we do really well with that at Bolles, and our coaches do a really good job with getting us up, whether that be at halftime or during the game. I mean, really just getting us up, making quick changes on the go, and that being, I feel like, our biggest quality.
Going up against Columbia's offense this week, they're a really good one too. And I feel like you guys have a really good defense over there. What's some things you guys need to do to slow down this offense?
You know, I feel like we just need to play Bolles football, because at the end of the day, if we play our game, we'll be able to go out there and dominate whoever we want. So really, we go out there, and if win or lose, it'll be because of us. So it's not, again, our coach likes to say that, Coach Tobelin, he likes to say it's not because of the other team, it's because of us. Whatever we go out there and do, it's going to be on us, win or lose. So I feel like if we go out there, play our brand, do what we know we can do what we have been doing these past couple of weeks, I feel like we can really go out there and show what we can do against a ranked opponent.
I love that answer, man. You're very well spoken, man.
Yes, sir.
You work with Mia O'Brien, media training a little bit, right?
I did. She's awesome. I mean, like, I did it with a couple guys from IMG, like a bunch of 5 stars. We were all on a Zoom call, and we were on it for like 2 hours. But she's awesome.
Yeah,
like, it was really cool.
Yeah, and Action Sports Jacks Network, by the way, you can catch Club 904 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I hope I get a bonus for the plug right there, noticing the marketing skills. But Asher, you mentioned they're playing Bolles football. Let's talk a little bit about that. What are some of the key points to you guys and your success as a team?
I'd say definitely playing violent and playing smart, because I feel like that's where some teams, start to crumble, is they go out there, play violent, but then they start making mistakes, small mistakes. And it's the small things that start to add up over time, like whether that be jumping off sides, getting in your head after that and making that mistakes multiple times, or doing a silly celebration, or going out there and really just mistakes you can, you determine. So if you go out there, you make a mistake knowing it's like that's fully on you, it's on your mentality, it's discipline, all of that. I just feel like we come out there with discipline, violence, and that's really our brand of football, because we stay disciplined throughout the whole thing, but we can also go out there and hit you in the mouth. So
yeah,
it's a good mixture of both.
And moving into your personal performance this season, you had 7 sacks your freshman year. You're already up at 17 this season. You're top 5 in the state, tied for 17th in the entire country. Just what's been the difference for you this year in your progression?
I feel like really working in the offseason at some of my weaknesses that I'd started to pick apart. Obviously getting with a bunch of coaches all over the country, and even with these college offers comes the college coaches, and all of those college coaches give me feedback, whether that be bend, physicality, strength, speed, anything. And so really just working like all of that stuff in the off season was really helping me this season and really being able to apply that this season as well. Working with the trainer before school, I feel like that's a big thing. And I have some social media platforms that I go on there and I try and give tips to younger defensive end or younger athletes. But that's a big thing for me, is going to training before school, before practice, after practice, anything that you can fit in. I feel like that's really important, and I didn't do that last year because I was so overwhelmed with starting high school. And I was like, oh, I got to do this, this, and that. But I feel like really starting to realize, okay, I just got to slow down, get my head in the game, and really just go out there, do what I know I can do, and then off the field, better myself every single day. And so I feel like really doing that this year was a really big game changer for me.
Let's talk a little bit. I've seen some of your TikToks and your advice to younger defensive ends. What made you decide to start doing that and help some of those players that are coming up as you did?
You know, I feel like because I know I wish that like there was someone where it was like telling me that's just a year older than me, not someone who went through the process 5 years ago or 10 years ago, someone who just went through it 6 months ago. I feel like I wish I had someone to do that, and I get a bunch of DMs asking for it, so I obviously try to reply to all of those, and I feel like making a video about it that's always available, and you don't have to ask, it's just always there on my page, and you know, just having that for people who maybe are feeling a little self-conscious or like, oh, he has this, I don't, so what can I do to get that? And really putting that out there and really letting them know not to compare themselves also, because I feel like that is also a big thing, comparison. And I mean, I do it too. Like I see someone, oh, he's doing this, he's getting this. Okay, what can I do to get that? But at the end of the day, it's not about that. And so I feel like really putting stuff out there for them to look up to and look up to someone who's maybe gone through the process 6 months ago, like I said, and not 5 years ago, I feel like is a big thing. And I know I would have wanted that, so I want to put that out there for anyone who might want that as well.
Yeah, that's great stuff. And you're getting some great experiences here lately. You're out at Notre Dame with your teammate Xander Edwards, and you were out there with someone, Luke Tolan, right?
Luke Tolan, yes.
Yeah,
sir.
You guys were out there, got to meet Joe Montana, and to see that environment, that was against USC, I believe, as well. Describe that visit and you know, how that was for you guys.
You know, that was amazing. I mean, we went out there, and obviously we knew it was going to be amazing. Every time we go up there, it's awesome. I mean, Xander, his dad being a former player there, and I mean, not just a former player, but a great player there. So, I mean, it's always an awesome experience. We meet new people every time. I mean, obviously, Joe Montana, Bryant Young we met, and that's just a few to name. But going out there, really seeing a bunch of different people from all over. And again, the big thing that stands out to me there is history. And we went there, and there was probably like 100 years of history there. You see someone who's 100 years old that coached some national championship team in like the 50s, and then you'd see someone super recent. So it's really cool just seeing the variety of people there and really the atmosphere, because every time I've been up there was in the summer or when student life wasn't on campus. So it was kind of just like empty, and I was like, this is kind of weird. And then once I got up there, I was like, oh, I see why everyone raves about this now. It was awesome. And I mean, we went to a news reporter's house, and I had never seen so much gear for any college football team. It was like we went in there and statues, records, everything. It was insane. Like, and I didn't think a house could fit that much stuff. And, but it was awesome. I mean, everything was awesome. And it was Tom Lemming. He does the Lemming Report, and he does a lot of different stuff. But it was really an amazing time. That was a phenomenal experience, and seeing that type of environment too, USC Notre Dame obviously being a rivalry game, and really just how hard the fans went for that game. It was awesome. I mean, some people see Notre Dame and it's like, okay, middle of nowhere, obviously, but there's no fans, but there's really a lot of fans.
Yeah.
They're diehard fans at that. So it was definitely awesome to finally see that, and I feel like that really made them jump many spots in my top list.
My grandfather graduated from Notre Dame.
That's awesome.
My family, so that campus, beautiful game day environment, the tradition, something else, and really cool experience there for you. And you've been getting this kind of attention recruiting-wise since middle school. You said your first offer was in 8th grade. How did you handle that, and what have you learned from this process and getting all this early attention as a big-time recruit?
I feel like obviously the first thing is keeping God first, you know, like, because a lot of these offers, what comes with it is a lot of anxiety too. I feel like keeping God at the center of all of that really helps ease that at the end of the day, because you can only choose one. And I mean, the stress that comes with picking from over 40 different schools is a lot, because it's like all of them have such amazing programs in their own way, and narrowing that down at the end of the day is going to be a pretty hard decision when it comes down to it. But I feel like really keeping God at the center no matter what, and realizing who you're playing for, and obviously that being him, is a big thing too, because just as fast as he gave it to you, he take it away. So I feel like that's a big thing for me. And obviously also having mentors around me, like Naeem Burrows, Corbin Fordham, Simeon Caldwell, all those guys went through the process themselves, obviously already committed and to big name schools, and really having people that I could look up to and know that they went through the process. And it was really awesome to have those guys coming fresh out of middle school, so I could see them, oh, he has this many offers, I want to be like him. And so really finally getting to that status, and having a great coach as well, great coaching staff over there, Coach Toblin and everyone. They're great, and they really helped guide me through this process, and it's been a blessing to be a part of that team. And also just with them, again, keeping God first. The coaches are really big on that there as well, and as well as teammates. So it's awesome to have a support program like that.
Yeah, last thing I got for you, Asher, is just when someone sees you play, when they see your work, your stuff on social media, what's the main thing you want them to take away?
I want them to take away that really just, yes, how great of a player that I can be, and what I've become, and how it wasn't just given, it was work that really got to that place. And also I want them to know that, again, keeping God at the center of everything is the most important thing, because, again, like I said, just as fast as he gave it to you, he could take it away. So it's really big. It's a really big thing for me, because, I mean, you could get hurt tomorrow. Football's over. What else do you value? What are your values? And I feel like keeping your morals at the center of that, and just like realizing who you are at the end of the day, besides football, because football doesn't define you. It's just something you. So, and I happen to be good at that. So it's just, it's honestly, that's what I want them to take away, that even through all this good stuff that's happening, always keeping God at the center, never losing sight of that.
Yeah. Well, Asher, it's great having you on the show, and great season. Really impressed, by the way. And we'll see you out there on Friday night for a big-time game against Columbia.
Yep, thank you.
Asher Ghioto, everybody. We'll be back to talk some playoff regions that are catching our eyes after this break on the Blitz Breakdown.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models, or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick GMC. We are professional grade. If you need a quality play this football season at your home, call That One Painter First Coast. Locally owned and operated, experienced employees, no builder grade materials. And there's more, and for that we throw it to Noah Schlicksup. That One Painter First Coast can apparently help your kicking game too.
Well, after my failure on skinny sticks last year on Creekside game day, I've spent a lot of time out here at Creekside practicing my kicks. There's only one issue. How is that even possible? The good news is I know exactly who can help. That One Painter can handle all your painting needs, from field goal posts to cabinets to stucco. They got you covered. Though they may not be able to help with my kicking, they can certainly help with the posts. Call That One Painter First Coast today for all your painting needs at 904-495-1373.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Blitz Breakdown. It is late October, final week of the regular season for the majority of teams in the area. And with that comes a lot of playoff talk, and there are two very interesting regions here in the area. And that starts with 6A Region 1 and 5A Region 1, two of the most tightly contested regions and most talented regions in the area. So really excited to cover this with Coach Kevin Sullivan joining us on the show a little earlier today. Chandler, we got him? We're going to hold on 1 second for Coach Sully. But, yeah, with the playoffs, this is the time of year where we were talking about it on the Zone Blitz, the Farrah Friday Night Zone Blitz on Friday night. And this is the time of year where you're doing a lot of game math, a lot of trying to figure out the FHSAA system. So what we've got last week's rankings, because the new rankings will drop tomorrow. But this is last week's rankings, how these regions shape up, and where they're ranked currently on Max Preps, which has, I think, a similar formula to decide this. And things actually shook up a lot in these rankings. So some very close races for certain seeds right now. Some teams on the bubble. So we'll get into that here on the Blitz Breakdown. Chandler's bring in Coach Sullivan. Oh, well, we lost Coach Sullivan, so we'll start talking about that. He'll join us later on, but let's start with 6A Region 1 and start off with the rankings. Last week's set, Buchholz came in number 1, followed by Pace and Mandarin. Oakleaf sitting at the 4 seed, Nice at 5. Evans, Oviedo, and Crestview are 6, 7, and 8. Then on the bubble, Tate and Fletcher separated by less than a point from the 8 seed Crestview. After last week, we had Buchholz stay put on Max Preps. These are the Max Preps rankings, where they'd have them now. Again, this is not where they would be necessarily in the FHSAA rankings. It's a educated guess. And hey, there's Coach Sullivan. Welcome onto the show. We're talking 6A Region 1 right now. So right now, Max Preps would have them as Buchholz, Mandarin, Nice, then the 4 seed Pace, Evans, number 5. Oakleaf drops down to 6, so they currently face off against Nice if the Max Preps rankings were correct. And then Crestfield and Oviedo with Fletcher on the outside looking in. So a lot to unpack here. I think Buchholz stays put, but the real interesting race right now is 2 through 6. All these teams are ranked inside the top 10 in 6A, top 35 in the state, according to Max Preps. It's Mandarin, Nice, Pace, Evans, and Oakleaf. Coach Sullivan, what do you feel like some of the best situations for area teams in this region would be?
Well, I know that Nice does not want to see Oakleaf in the first round. I believe they don't match up very well together. And last year, Oakleaf beat Nice in the second round after dispensing Mandarin in the first round. And they got hot and did some good things. And I don't think that's a good match for Nice. I think it'll be interesting because Mandarin may drop a little bit with a loss to St. Augustine this week. So that's going to be an interesting scenario where they end up going. Shouldn't be a big drop for them, but yeah, you never know. I've seen some of these Max Prep ranking in that, and I'm like, wait a minute, that team beat this team, but it's ranked ahead of them. So I don't understand.
Yeah, Max Preps hasn't done game math very well, in my opinion, but Last week, the FHSAA had Pace, Mandarin, and Oakleaf all within a single point, and Nice just outside of that margin. They were at 17.28. Pace was at 8.52. Right now, they'd have Nice jumping Pace, Mandarin as that 2 seed. Is there a scenario potentially with that loss you think that we could see Nice or Pace jump up and take that 2 seed?
Yeah, there could be. Yeah, depending on what they say. Well, I know Nice has got a pretty good opponent this week, too, with Beachside. So, I mean, if Nice jumps on top of Beachside probably will win their district, I would say. So they're going to be ranked pretty high. So that's a good win. And then Mandarin, if they beat St. Augustine, definitely going to secure them number 2. I don't think they're going to move from there. So it's just going to be interesting how everything works out. I hate to tell you all, I know I'm an old guy, and I like the old system where if you won the district, you know who you're going to play week 1. If you were the runner-up, you know who you're going to play first round of the playoffs. So I don't know about the new system, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and it does make for a lot of interesting conversation at this point of the season. It's going to take a lot for Fletcher to break into the top 8 here. They got a good win there against First Coast. They're going to need to get a win this week against Trinity Christian to give themselves a chance. But that's just the region I'm watching right now. I feel like whoever comes out of this region has a Buchholz is the top team in 6A right now. I think the winner of this region has a very solid chance as coming away as our state champion. So this is one I definitely have my eye on. The other one I'm watching, and you mentioned it's actually Ponte Vedra in Beachside's district. If everyone wins out, I think Ponte Vedra is going to take that district as the district champions. Right now, Max Preps has them. They were separated by about 0.7 of a point from Mainland last week. Max Preps has them jumping Mainland after beating the IMG Junior National Team last week. Beachside was the 5 seed last week. Max Preps has them going down to 6 this week. They have Niceville getting a big jump. But this 5A Region 1, you have Fleming Island and Middleburg, who are fighting for that 8 seed right now. Matanzas, a team that's trying to sneak in there. There are some teams in this region that are very interesting. Lincoln, they've been down this year, but that's a team that can be dangerous. No one in this region you really want to see come November. Out of these teams, Ponte Vedra, Mainland, Mosley, Niceville, Milton, Beachside, Lincoln, Fleming Island, and Middleburg, who stands out to you in this region, Coach?
Well, again, that's pretty wide open, that group. You know, the teams from the 904 having to go play in the Panhandle over the years have not had a lot of success. And so if they're on the road to Niceville or Mosley, that's a different environment, and it's been really tough. The PV is an interesting team with the loss to Beachside early. You would think that Beachside, if they continue to win and finish winning, would be ahead of Ponte Vedra, but apparently that's not how it works anymore. But I think it's wide open. I really think of all the regions that this area, any one of those 8 teams could go.
I agree. I mean, I would say at the top for me is Mainland PV, and Niceville is always the team that is not easy to play with. But I know they've been having a little bit of a down year this year from what I have heard. But, you know, like you said, going to the Panhandle is pretty bad. But going to the Panhandle and having to play at Niceville is always a tough job. That band is blaring. I remember Bartram going when I was a senior in high school, and Bartram went over there, and I remember the refs going, "You guys," they were telling the band to quiet down. That's how loud they could be in there. That's a really good atmosphere in Niceville. I bet nobody really wants to travel up to Niceville to play that game. Beachside is one of those, like, to me, it's like one of those of teams that could play with anybody because how good their offense is. They could light up that scoreboard. If their defense can just withstand the other team a little bit, they have a chance. I think Ponte Vedra is the same way, but, you know, Beachside beating Ponte Vedra kind of, you know, that's playing some baseball in my mind. I don't know who's the better team or what. You know, Beachside, that whole district with Ponte Vedra, Beachside, Middleburg, Fleming, that's just caused a lot of scrambled eggs in my brain. So yeah, it's tough to judge.
But you talk about Ponte Vedra, and you mentioned how hard it is to go out to the Panhandle and win against some of these teams. If PV can lock up that 1 or 2 seed, and they have a good chance to do so, if they beat Creekside this week, they could get that 1 seed and have home field advantage potentially all the way through the regional finals.
Yeah.
That's a very key matchup this week, and one of the bigger matchups to watch this week simply for that reason, because PV, that playoff advantage you get from playing at home, and PV, you know from experience in the playoffs, not an easy place to play, especially in the playoffs. This could end up being one of the bigger impactful games this week.
Yeah, and I agree. If PV locks up that 1 seed, I think the only team they would stylistically not match up well against would be Mainland. I think Mainland's a little bit better up front on both sides. They usually have a very physical group over there. But yeah, I mean, Ponte Vedra, if they lock up that 1 seed, it's looking really nice for them. And Beatside could scrap. I don't know who's going to get in that 8 seed. I would think it'd be cool to see Fleming get in there, but or Matanzas, Middleburg. I don't know, man. I don't even know why I'm talking about it.
It's a local battle right there.
Yeah,
it's between Fleming Island, Matanzas, and Middleburg. Those are the 3 to watch in that spot. We're going to make some picks for some of these big matchups coming back after this commercial break, and we've got some good ones in the 904.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. And most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade. If you need a quality play this football season at your home, call That One Painter First Coast. Locally owned and operated, experienced employees, no builder-grade materials. And there's more, and for that, we throw it to Noah Schlicksup. That One Painter First Coast can apparently help your kicking game, too.
Well, after my failure on skinny sticks last year on Creekside game day, I've spent a lot of time out here at Creekside practicing my kicks. There's only one issue. How is that even possible? The good news is I know exactly who can help. That One Painter can handle all your painting needs, from field goal posts to cabinets to stucco. They got you covered. Though they may not be able to help with my kicking, they can certainly help with the posts. Call That One Painter First Coast today for all your painting needs at 904-495-1373.
If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. When you hear that, you think Bono's Pit Barbecue, a staple in Northeast Florida now for 75 years. A place that feels like home with friendly service, a meeting place for friends, family, or business occasions. On the menu, the corn nuggets are a favorite in our house, but there's something for everyone. Sandwiches, platters, salads, sides, desserts, and family feasts. You see Bono's all over the place in Northeast Florida. You know, there are almost 20 locations in the Jacksonville area now, so stop on by, sit down, and dine in with Bono's. You can also take it to go. There are drive-thrus in many of the locations, and they have delivery options too. Just download the Bono's app to make things easy. I signed up for the loyalty program, and you can too, to get special offers. If Jacksonville is home, few things feel more Jacksonville than Bono's Pit Barbecue. Celebrate 75 years and many more to come. Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Final quarter of the Blitz Breakdown. Remember, guys, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. The Blitz Breakdown brought to you by Bono's Pit Barbecue, the touchdown sponsor of our games of the week. And we've got some good ones. Thursday, Mandarin at St. Augustine. And then Friday, we're going out to Lake City. We're getting Bolles at Columbia. Some ranked matchups that are going to be very fun to watch. And we're going to be picking them now on the Blitz Breakdown, our pick segment. Always a fun one. We've got Coach Sullivan sticking with us for it. And let's get started with one that will be a high-scoring affair. Two high-powered offenses with great quarterbacks. Ed White at Baldwin, each coming in 7-2. I'll start us off here. I think Ed White, that defense is what concerns me here. I think Baldwin's going to be able to put up some points in this game. At home, they have an advantage. However, I think Ed White, I don't think they're going to have to punt. I think they might go out there and score every single drive in this game. I'm being serious about that. Bulls put up, I think, 73 on this team. Ed White's a very well-rounded team. I think they're going to light up the scoreboard and be able to get a stop or two to come away with a win.
Yeah, I think the over-under on the total points of this game is like 130. I don't – both teams, like, very fun offenses to watch, just lacking on defense big time for both teams. But I do think Ed White's got some playmakers on defense. They also usually get some turnovers in some games. So I think that those few stops that they will have will be the difference in this game. Again, I think King Boylston and Gage Screws are just going to light up the scoreboard, get your popcorn ready for that one if you like a shootout. I think every fan likes a shootout. So I'm going to take Ed White on this one. I just think they're a better team.
That game's going to go till 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I think that you guys are both right. I think that it's going to be a close game in halftime, maybe like a 7 to 10 point type of swing. But I think Ed White will make enough plays defensively to slow Baldwin down in the second half. So I'll go with Ed White.
Whoops, there we go. I'll have to follow you guys. I'm going to stick with Ed White. Both great QBs. I haven't seen Baldwin too much play, but if you look at Max Prep, both teams have scored a lot of points each week, every week. I'm going to stick with Ed White and their offense with King Bolston.
Yeah, another good matchup next week. We've got Trinity Christian at Fletcher. Trinity, they're 5-4. They are on a roll. 4 wins in a row with some good wins in there against Lincoln. You get the win last week against Kipbold City to win the district. They knock off Episcopal as well in there. I'm missing I feel like the biggest win in there, or a big win for them, against Riverside.
Oh, yeah.
And they compete at Columbia as well. This is a team that's hitting their rhythm, hitting their stride. They go at Fletcher this week. Fletcher, they are missing their starter. Backup played well. Cato played a very nice game against First Coast. However, I think Trinity, they're in a rhythm right now. I think they're going to keep it going against this Fletcher team and come out with a close win over at the beach.
Yeah, I think going over to the beach, that's a fun stadium to play in. But anyways, I think with this backup QB Fletcher he had a great game last week, but I think he's going to be under some pressure all night. I think Trinity Christian's D-line is a pretty solid one. They got some solid edge rushers over there that can get in the backfield, and they like to blitz a lot too. So I think getting the pressure on the QB, the new QB, is going to be a problem. And I also do think that Trinity has some better coaching over there, and I just think because of those reasons, I'm going to take Trinity Christian winning this game and also them catching a stride late in the season.
Yeah, Trinity's put together some good wins down the stretch, sort of getting their schedule filled out a little bit, where all the good, strong teams early on in the year, and they've sort of been going and doing some really good things. I think the win last week, Fletcher, was huge for them. First time started quarterback. He figured out throw the ball to Jones, the wideout, and good things are going to happen, and I see a lot of that. So I'm going to go with Fletcher on this one.
Yeah, I think Trinity's on a 4-game winning streak. I believe they found their spark. They're going to make it far in the playoffs with their region and their district that they have. I think Trinity's going to win this one, and I think they're going to win it pretty big.
Beachside at Nice, our next game. A battle down there in St. Johns County. Both of these teams with 2 losses this season. Beachside's interesting. That offense has been consistent, very good with Eddie Jordan at quarterback. However, they beat Orange Park by just 3 points last week. Now, credit to Orange Park. They're playing some better football right now. However, Beachside, they lose at Middleburg. Close game there against Orange Park. Teams they should probably be beating, and by a significant margin, I think, as well. Maybe going down on a bit of a skid right now. They're not playing their best football. Nice at home. I got the Panthers.
Yeah, I think both these offenses are really solid. I think Beachside's just, they have the more poised QB and the more comfortable one, but the big difference here is that defense. Beachside's defense is a little bit lacking a little bit, and Nice's defense is one of at least a top 3 defense in the area. They're going to blitz after Eddie Jordan. That O-line for Beachside's going to have to step up in this football game if they want to win, and I think those Nice DBs also are going to be all over those receivers. It's going to be a really tough execution for Beachside's offense to keep up with Nice's against Beachside's defense. So for those reasons, I'm going to take Nice winning this football game against Beachside.
Yeah, you make some good points. I think that Beachside has played a little bit uninspired towards the end of the year, where most of the good teams are sort of ramping it up and hitting their stride towards the end of the year. And I don't think Beachside's doing that. I think Nice hit their low, played some good teams early, lost a couple, had 3 shutouts in a row now. And I think they're starting to hit their stride, and they're feeling pretty good. Remember, they're a very young team, Nice. They don't have a lot of seniors. They got really good quality seniors, but not a lot of them. So this year's been a tremendous year for them, so I'm going to stay on Nice.
Yeah, I think Nice is going to pull away with this win. It's kind of hard for me to pick Beachside when they lost to Middleburg. It was an overtime game, 37-36, but also a close game last week with the Orange Parks. So I'm sticking with Nice. I'm sticking with the home team, and I think the Panthers will win.
By the way, Crew Casey right now, 19 sacks. The linebacker over there at Nice. He is top in the state right now, leads the state in sacks, top 10 in the country. Crew Casey, talk about a committed to uncommitted guy right there. I think he just opened his recruitment back up. He's one of the best players in the area, having a heck of a season over there for Nice. Ponte Vedra at Creekside. PV comes in 7-2. Creekside playing better football as of late, 4-5. A big matchup there, especially for Ponte Vedra when it comes to playoff seeding. Going at Creekside, this is a Knights team that finds a way in these games to battle. For them, they have to limit turnover. They can't turn the ball over in this game.
Yeah.
They have to steal a couple possessions, and then after that, they just got to give themselves a chance at home down the stretch. However, I think that passing game specifically for PV just going to be too much for the Knights to handle, and for that reason, I'm going with PV.
Yeah, those are really good points. Ponte Vedra has one of the best passing attacks in the area. Creekside finding their stride a little bit, and that 4-5 record might fool a little bit of you guys. They've battled with some good football teams this year, like Winter Park and I think Spruce Creek. And, those are 2 games they were close in, and they also have some solid wins. But I think Creekside's looking for their signature win going into this one. And also, I think it's been a little bit of a long time since Ponte Vedra has walked into Creekside and won a football game. So I'm going to take the Knights getting their signature win and the upset for the last game of the season at the Castle.
Well, again, that'd be inspiration. Again, very young team, Creekside, and for them to be able to get this win would be tremendous. But I think PV has really been playing well the last 4 or 5 weeks, really dominating opponents and feeling pretty good about it. And I think that's going to carry them on. Like we talked about early in the playoffs, a win for them keeps them probably the 2 seed and helps them down the road in the playoffs. So I think I've got to stay with PV on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. They're on a 5-game winning streak. Good teams are good in the last half of the season. So I'm sticking with PV. Creekside has kind of been on and off a little bit this season, so I'm going to stick with PV.
On to our games of the week. First with our Thursday matchup, 8-1 Mandarin trying to spoil the perfect season for St. Augustine on the road. Me and Brody not going to be predicting these games as we are calling them. Coach, get us started with your prediction for Mandarin and St. Augustine.
Man, what a great way to end the regular season. These 2 teams played each other last year and this year, not backing down from each other. It should be a lot of fun. I think the difference is going to end up being, to me, is the ability of Mandarin to keep the St. Augustine offense in check, and I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to take on the St. Augustine train.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go the other route. I'm sticking with Mandarin. I think they're a better team on offense and defense. But I do think St. Augustine is coached better. But it's home team for St. Augustine, but I'm going to stick with the Mustangs.
On to Bolles at Columbia. Bolles, the number 3 team in our area, going up against the number 8 Columbia, both 8-1. Sully, who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bolles. I'm gonna stay with Bolles, even though they're on the road. They've really their last couple of games have sort of been. It's not their fault. It's the district they've got to play in, and their kids are going to be rested and hungry and ready to show that they're one of the better teams in the area and to go into Lake City, which is a hard place to play. But I think they're going to come out with the win.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I'm sticking with the Bulldogs.
Bolles and Columbia, Mandarin and St. Augustine. Catch those games live on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Coach Sully, thanks again for joining us on the show. Great episode
guys.
in the books, and we'll see you next week here on the Blitz Breakdown.
Burgers or breakfast, you can get it all at Whataburger. Try something new on the menu or an all-time favorite like the Whataburger Patty Melt.
And now you can have breakfast here at Whataburger 12 hours a day, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. Menu items like the bacon taquito, sausage taquito, honey butter chicken biscuit. Whether you work the late night shift, just want a snack early in the morning to get your day started, or a little pick-me-up late in the morning, 12 hours a day, breakfast served, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m.
A dozen locations in Jacksonville. You can order pickup or delivery and download the Whataburger app. New rewards members get free Whataburger items when placing their first online order. Just download the app. And for us coffee drinkers, Whataburger has all new hot coffee and iced coffee too. Satisfy that coffee craving at Whataburger 24/7, and it comes in a variety of flavors. Burgers, breakfast, coffee, and so much more. Whataburger, just like you like it.